Hi, I'm Robert, and welcome to the High Desert Ranch and Homestead channel. Today I'm going to be determining what our stock rate is, or your AUMs for the autumn season, to see just how many cows we can put on this piece of property. So come along, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to determine that and give you a little update report here on the conditions here in the high desert of central Utah. It's autumn time here in central Utah. The leaves are starting to change and things are cooling down, not only in the daytime but especially at night. And we've had a few storms that have come in, and they've even brought some snow to the higher elevations. All this could not come soon enough. Last year, 2020, was the hottest and driest on record ever since they've kept records here in this area. And this year was also the hottest and driest on record, breaking last year's record. So we definitely are holding our breath. A lot of ranchers around here are hoping that they can not only make it through this another dry season, but we're all hoping and praying for snow to come and those colder temperatures as well. The climate and weather can be very harsh at times, but when you're given stewardship over the land, it can be so rewarding as you learn to work with nature and what it gives to you. So as you can see, conditions aren't the greatest out here. In fact, it has been one of the hottest and driest summers on record. Last year was even worse. We've been blessed with some rains in August. In fact, the rains that we received in August were a quarter of our total precipitation. And seeing as it's September 30th and the precipitation calendar will start tomorrow, October 1st, we normally average around 13.5 inches of rain. We've only received 8. And like I said, over 3 inches has come in July and August. So very unusual, seeing as those are the most dry months. But these are the conditions we have to work with. And so there's a picture right here of this particular mountain. And it usually has snow all year round, but the last 2 years it hasn't. And you can see that reference of that green summit sign along the highway. Just to give you an idea just how tall that mountain is here. And it's just off here to the north of where I'm filming right now. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to show you how to quickly determine your stock rate. And given that this is just, the conditions are not great. In fact, we'll just have to see how quickly the grass will deplete and how quickly we'll have to start feeding and supplementing with that hay. All right, so here's what we have to work with. As you can see, it is very dry, very sparse, but here's something very simple. It's 1 square foot, which will help us just see exactly how much we have to work with. And there's 43,560 square feet in an acre. And so what I'm going to do is take 10 samples throughout here and just see exactly how much we have to work with, and then weigh that, average it, and then that'll give us a pretty good indication of just what the stock rate is here on this piece of property. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. Not much at all. Now I've got this bucket. I mean, I don't think we're going to even have much to work with. I'm going to get a couple samples right here, and then I'm going to go elsewhere. When you hear us talk about a drought out west, this is what we're dealing with right here. I mean, this is right there. All right, so let's go to another spot and see. All righty. Again, you're trying to get some samples. To simulate a cow, you want to keep about 2 inches off the ground. This particular piece of ground that we are on has been with my family for right around 150 years. They helped to settle this valley. And so I would love to see this piece of property continue to stay within the family and be a benefit to not only us, but to the community at large. But it is going to require careful land management and being wise and good stewards over that which we have been given for it to be around for many generations to come. All right, so it wasn't as great as I thought. I knew it was bad, but it's really bad. It took 10 samples and I averaged about just over an ounce per square foot. So you take that and you take the amount of square feet in an acre, and that's going to give you basically how many pounds per acre of stock you're going to have. So at 1 ounce per square foot, that's not very good. And yeah, so a little scary. That just kind of gives you a situation of the drought out here. There's a different piece on this property where it's a little bit more wet. And speaking of wet, something I've been working on is getting water to this property, because water is gold in here around these parts. And as you see, there is water coming through this pipeline now, which is separate from the ditch and the pond that I was showing you. And that just runs all the way through here to the back of, it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles worth of piping. So there you have it. Gives you a little, just the gravity of when you're out here on the rangeland, just what you're up against, and just how important it is that my project to get water to this particular piece of property is in such a dire need, because the rains aren't coming, and they unfortunately came too late. We normally average about 65 inches of snow. We got about 60 last winter, but unfortunately it came too late. And we got a lot of it in March. In fact, the bulk of that was in March. And we didn't get a lot in the earlier part of the winter, which is very detrimental because we don't have the ground cover, the snow covering the ground, which helps to insulate the ground. And so what happened is the frost will work its way down into the ground and just suck all the moisture and destroy all the roots of the native grasses and other things. So that's why you see from the video earlier that the grasses are just doing so poorly, because they just got scorched by record-breaking heat this summer, and then the lack of snow cover on the ground. Usually in mid to late November, closer to Thanksgiving, there's pretty much constant snow cover on the ground, which is what we need. We're here just right around 6,000 feet in elevation. So and per this chart that you can see, is things are cold. Those are average highs and lows here in the wintertime. So we definitely are warmer than normal. And by the time we got all the snows, like I say, in March, it was kind of too little too late. The damage is already done. So it's been a little bit cooler this year in the last few weeks. I'll have to look at the numbers. So I'm hoping that we got a little storm a couple days ago, put a little bit of dusting on the mountains of snow, some of the higher peaks, and it looks like there's more storms forecasted to come. So that's what we're up against out here here in the West. And so yeah, I don't know what else to say, but you make do or do without, and as a rancher, you're faced with the hard choices of, do you cull the herd, do you thin the herd, do you auction off because you can't afford to feed, because there is no native grasses. So we only get so many trips around the sun. So decide what you're going to do, get after it, and never give up. I'll always be hopeful and have that faith as I do, and so many other ranchers and farmers do. So I'm glad that you followed, came along. Please like, subscribe, share with others, and I hope that I could be your ticket to escape the ordinary and find out what it's like to live the high life here in the high desert of the Intermountain West.